as universities, and we are in it today. We're going to be talking about none other than top decks of the English meta, because again, this is great info for all players to kind of get a feel for. This is going to get shooken up right quickly once we get, Code Geass coming in this week, but this was quite a short format, to be honest, but that's good. We kind of have time to get more cards in, get cards we want, but at the end of the day, we just have to take a look at the meta. This is excluding rare battles because I'm going to do a video tomorrow related to rare battles and what are topping, because we have some kind of data on that too. So I didn't want to skew the data because rare battles instantly just boost up decks because they're not facing in mixed hybrid formats, and that now skews the data because you have to only play against one type of deck styles, and that's not worth it in my opinion. So without further ado, let's get in the video and talk about it. So with rare battles coming around, I do expect results to be a little bit less, and that's kind of expected. There's no way around that, right? But we kind of have a lot of information to work with still. We have, a few Mahito lists topping. I don't have any of those lists, sadly. Those were just told to me when I was asking about players, and they were like, yeah, I just topped locals yesterday. I'm like, okay, so I got some data on that. Mahito is starting to do things, but it falls in these weird categories because I can't see the list. You're verbally telling me, yeah, I got second or I got third, that matters. It just depends on the date, but taking a look though, this is kind of what we're getting at. A lot of decks started falling off. Toshi didn't really do anything, but there are events that I don't get to see. So if I'm not seeing them, I'm not going to be able to vindicate them. But eventually these will show up more and more, and we'll get some good understanding. Right now we have the Sukunas, you got the Gojo decks, you do have Purple Bleach, you have Mahito list, you do have Raidless Bleach, you do have none other than the Deck of the Hour Kurapika topping as well, but you also do have Kento Nanami's list, which is basically, I'll show you Min's list, and that's kind of what I've been using as well. So I've been able to do well in mixed formats as well, so it's good to know. Then you do have our good friend here, Megumi. So Megumi's doing some shenanigans, not getting like first, but it's definitely putting into the results of top fours. So that's good to know. As long as they meet the requirements of at least 8 players, I will record that. But then you have like Todo doing well as well. And then we did have one Crollo list that did well, the Crollo hybrid. But if you guys want to see where some tournament results are, or even posting them here will help out in exburst.dev. This is a good way for me to find all your information. And like I said, we're getting a lot of, rare battles here, which we'll be talking about shortly. And that is good to know. But there's also competitive deck archives. This is where you guys can post here as well. Or if you really want to help out, on Twitter, use this hashtag right here, Union Arena Tops. This will let me find your list a little bit easier. So without further ado, let's go over it. This one was posted in Eggman events, but this was from Rumble Rama, Kurapika. This one I commentated on Wednesday, so if you guys wanted to find out what the top list was, this is what it was. And he's pretty much solid across the board. Kurapika does a lot of Kurapika things. There is no Hisoka, which is weird because I thought I saw him play Hisoka. Okay. Apparently no Hisoka. We have just a bunch of Leorios just applying pressures. I think this has a lot of potential and it's a really solid list. At the end of the day, you do have just Kurapika being Kurapika. It's a bully deck and it does a lot of things. But with the meta speeding up, I think this is why Kurapika is starting to turn down. Is because, again, Kurapika takes a couple turns to get that momentum going. If they didn't get that opening nuts hands where they have like two sets or a Setzer, a Leorio bounce, and then be able to, set up, or just go like Setzer, be able to play a 2 cost, or Setzer pop activate Setzer, plays a pile, you know, then go Leoro bounce the Setzer up to hand and then do some other crazy shenanigans. It doesn't always add up. And you know, you do have like Hunter's License to be able to extend plays and stuff, but it does rely a little bit on the Setzer combo to really speed you up faster than your opponent can. But there's sometimes it just doesn't happen like that. So just good information across the board to know. And again, Kurapika is Kurapika. The Kurapika impact is always scary. Then we do have Todo. Todo was something people wanted to kind of see as well. I like the idle transfiguration as another removal comboing with Boogie Woogie, because at least with, you know, transfiguration, it kills 3000 DP in the front line. I mean, I kind of wish they were playing a Mahito to kind of just guarantee something and some transfigure humans or something. But, you know, it's a solid option. I think if you're going to do anything, Boogie Woogie would probably be better. Just the bottom deck, because it's the same thing. You're not worrying about your opponent's threat. You're just bottom decking it, and it's a lot more scary to bottom deck something. So I would probably go with this, actually. Just full play set of Boogie Woogie. It especially activates a turn sooner than even Idle Transfiguration. I know Idle Transfiguration is minus 3000 kill something, and that can really combo really nicely with Miwa. You know, Miwa can minus the board, which, you know, that can help, especially if you pop her into sideline and then you still have one energy to activate this. You know, that can happen because, again, you can minus a 5k down to 0, but Boogie Woogie just does the job easier. And just taking a look, you have like Goodwill Events, you do have non-existent memories. It just all adds up and applies a lot of damage to your opponent, you know. Then we do have another one. This one's more what I would expect from them, you know, playing for Miwa, playing for Todos. You know, the deck can do stuff, you know, and, you know, I love the clap on, you know, clap. Then we do have the Mahito, no, not Mahito, Kento Nanami list, which, again, I really actually like playing this deck. I find it a lot more enjoying. This one has 4, 8, 12, 14 zero costs, which is super vital for this deck because you do need to see your zero costs, which upgrades the consistency of you actually being able to play out your turns. Sometimes 12 is just not enough, in my opinion, and with this list, you want to have these extra plays because, again, you're really just doing double zero, then playing your 2 costs. You're skipping 1 cost all in general besides Sukuna's Finger, which is basically suspend, draw a card. So doing that and knowing that, it really does make a lot of sense. And then, you know, Kento Nanami is a very scary card once you're at 15, that having 8 targets with impact is always scary for a lot of decks. This is why, you know, Hunter x Hunter's Kurapika list is always scary because it's not just the snipe, it's the amount of impacts it has. It has at least 10 impacts, if not more in some circumstances, and that leads to being such a threat. So again, having the Kento Nanami being double damage and impact as long as you're at 15 or less is always scary. You know, you have Sukuna's Finger, you have Domain Expansion, you have Collapse, being able to bottom deck threats. I cannot kid you enough. Being able to bottom deck a 5k means that they're not going to see that card ever again. You know, in this game, we do not go through our decks enough to get to those bottom cards, so it's always good to see. Then we do have another Sukuna. This is just big boy Sukuna because they're not playing any of the 4 costs, so they're focusing on being able to use the Yuji Itadori plus the Sukuna, you know, to dig for their fingers and just go at it for town. And they use the Jujutsu High's first years to kind of just draw a bunch of cards. So I kind of get where they're going with it, and it gives it more value because they have enough of the Yuji Itadoris to kind of just do what they want, and then they just focus on Shrine. Their goal is to get as many fingers into trash as fast as possible and then Shrine to game. So I think this is really vital too to understand. Then we do have another at 10-man locals at Game Riz. So one against Todo, Kurapika, Sukuna. Big Sukuna is just in there just to be you know, the boy, just to be able to bounce threats once you get all your fingers into trash. You know, they can't play the 2 cost in this list, but I figure if you're going to do something, I would be honest with you. This is a great card, don't get me wrong, but this can do a lot more damage as well, because especially because a lot of players will just play to the 1-of field. And again, because the deck plays so fast, it plays a lot faster than most lists. This just basically guarantees you getting damage in, and especially if you can get the shrines and enough fingers early on, you can just apply a lot of pressure. Now we're getting into the Megumi list. They do play 1 Gojo, and then they do have Inuka. So just taking a look here, the doggos are doggos. They come out swinging, especially with Chimera Shadow Garden. This thing is going to apply a lot of pressure because, again, all your pay 1 AP, all Shinigami affiliate cards on your field get 1000 DP for the turn. But once per turn, when a Megumi on your field attacks, choose 1 Shinigami affiliate card on your front line and switch it to active. Being able to do 5 attacks in this game is always scary, especially because this thing totality basically deals 2 damage. So if you have a black and white in your sideline, this character gains double damage. So you just need 1 of these puppers in your sideline, and this thing's just dealing damage. And if your opponent's not ready to handle this card can just eat up your life so quickly. Then another one, Nicholas. Nicholas is a great player. He definitely likes this deck a lot, and he does a lot really well with it. He does play the Panda, a little bit of Panda, which is great because a 5k swinger, a 4k swinger with impact, and, you know, being able to block twice can sometimes just matter for game, you know? So it's great to see kind of 2 different styles of Megumi, and who knows, we could definitely see some more. Then we do have Raidless Bleach with Byakuya. So, wow, no, this is just Ichigo Byakuya. So, oh no, this is a rare battle. I have to take that out. I don't do rare battles. Sorry. That'll be tomorrow's video. Taking a look, though, we do have a Raidless Bleach with Byakuya Kushi at the top end. I know this is similar to Nicholas's list, where it kind of just has the good mode shift, and then it uses Byakuya to kind of just, you know, get there. What do I mean by get there? Well, with Byakuya Kuchiki, you can set yourself up to do what you need to while for pushing return, especially against certain decks, and I know which decks, and that is Kurapika. Being able to deal with their 5k threats with a Byakuya Kuchiki means that their blockers aren't trading effectively. They are losing their blockers every single time. Then you have Raidless Bleach as well, you know, just doing Raidless Bleach shenanigans. Renji, Rukias, Ichigos, you know the drills here by now. Then we do have our good friend here, Joseph Anderson. Dude makes a lot of good articles. Go look it up. JosephWriterAnderson.com. You'll find this list. But this is Raidless Bleach again, with Renji's technically and everything like that. So just taking a look, very solid list, you know, a very usual list for this style of play, and I like it. I like that we have so much variety in the form in this format, and then you do have the hybrid Hunter x Hunter purple. You know, I don't know this deck as well, but we got Lumi for the impact double damage, and then you have Crollo for impact, and as long as you see these things, you can just really make your opponent have a bad day. But taking a look though, kind of just seeing where things are going to shape up. A lot's going to change for the next couple weeks just because of all the rare battles. I know that normal events are going to tick down because rare battles are 2 events for each game all this month. So yeah, I mean, I was able to take 1 Jujutsu Kaisen 1, so just good to know. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.